Is this better? Does this work? My microphone. Can you hear me now? Any better? Guys?
Yeah.
Can anyone hear me?
Dave, we got you. We got you. We got you. We got you.
There you go.
Stop.
Okay, good.
Good. Don't move a thing.
Good.
You did it!
Good. Now people
Oh my
walking by me.
gosh.
Good. Perfectly.
That's good.
Hi, guys.
Perfect. What's happening, man?
Holy
For everybody who doesn't know, we're with our good friend, again, Bob Merrier. Did I pronounce that? I'm going to ask the Canadian. Did I pronounce it?
Yeah, you said it right.
Merrier.
Yes, you said it right. Absolutely.
And now, you know, one of our guys who normally is here helping out, he got in a car accident last night. Max is actually fine. He's going to be okay. But I was normally, like, I was going to have a signal where the American flag goes up behind me on the monitor, but I couldn't because we're short-staffed. Just because I'm surrounded by Canadians today. We got
2 against 1, Bob.
Let's
I'm
do
in
this.
trouble.
You know what? Don't tell
trouble.
any Americans that they don't even realize it's happening to them.
Right. It's so true.
Yeah.
So, all right, we'll talk about that later. But so Bob's a good friend of ours. He's been on the show before. He's had a huge impact on my life in a very positive way, and a lot of other people. You're very big on Instagram, and he's known as the Sober Coach. And he worked with a lot of, has worked with, and still does a lot of famous celebrities, athletes, helping them in recovery.
Yep.
And one of the things that is obviously on everyone's mind as you get to the end of the year. Well, this year it's getting the hell out of this year.
Yeah, for reals.
But the end of the year is Christmas, holidays, Hanukkah, parties, stress, which means more drinking,
Yeah.
more drinking,
Yeah.
more drinking.
Let's.
I brought a friend, Bob.
Yeah.
I brought a friend.
I feel like he's setting me up, Bob. Like, is this an intervention? Did you two discuss?
No, not yet.
Not okay.
No. I would come in person for you, Adrian. It's too complicated a case to do on this medium. You know,
Your family's going to walk out the other
I know.
doors
Like,
right
oh
now.
my God.
The difference is your husband,
I am in
Damon,
Adrian,
walked out with scotch in his hand.
Please look at me. I would be telling you this is all out of love and concern. These people are love and
no.
concern you. Exactly.
Can't.
Yes, that's how it works.
But you do. I mean, look, with everything happening in the world, drinking's been back through the roof.
Yeah.
And one of the things we were speaking about, besides missing you and wanting to bring you back, was the topic of dry January, which is everywhere and all over the news. And people ask me all the time and see around here, hey, did you continue not drinking? Because when I was with Bob, and people can go back and see some of the old podcasts, I committed to work with Bob for 30 days. And after that, I don't think I drank for about 60, 70 days plus. And then I did have some casual drinks or whatever you want to define it. I never set out to say I'm never drinking again.
Right.
But I also then have always said that sometimes I don't on off as well as certain things. So just as we got into the holidays, I said, you know what, I'm looking for a landmark to get myself back onto my not drinking at all. So I thought dry January with Bob would be fun.
Yeah.
Do we bore you? Is that why you're texting? Do
No.
we bore you?
No.
This makes me want
He's
to
making
drink.
notes on your file drive.
I actually
then-
took no. I wanted to have some proper things to talk about. So,
But here is
there
the
you go.
fun part where it does get fun, even though it's a very serious topic. I brought a friend because, as you know from before, Adrian has been with me for a lot of years, working at Launch as one of our main creative directors, creative genius, a wonderful all-around human. But she had commented a couple of times to those of us here that she needs to dial back. I'll put it in your own words. Go ahead.
Well,
We're listening.
did I say it that way? Well, yes, I think just as you said, the holiday time for sure, and plus COVID on top of that. Yeah, I've been drinking a little bit more than usual, I would say. I feel like I'm in control, though, Bob.
in control.
But, yeah,
Okay,
but you know, especially with two... He's
Bob,
like,
she
"You've
was
got
doing
thoughts on
I
that."
she was
love how
doing a
they-
keg stand. She was doing a keg stand on top of Moosehead in her office
No, stop it.
when I walked by.
There's no
And I-
there's no recovery for drinking Moosehead. Even a Canadian. That's another thing we've just thrown to the Americans. No Canadians actually drink that. You know.
So we do like to have fun, but we also know it's a serious topic. But we
Yeah.
thought that we could have that right combination by talking about dry January with you and myself and Adrian being the guinea pigs and asking all of our viewers if they want to join along with us and our listeners for the next 30 days as we hold ourselves accountable with you. So we're making that available through our As Not Seen
But
on TV.
first of all, I had no idea what dry January was, and that was a thing. I thought you were pulling my leg or something. So apparently this is not a new thing.
No.
Dry January.
And Sober September. It happens 2 months a year. Sober September. And
Sober October.
Yeah.
Joe Rogan
Yeah.
does Sober October.
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah.
Promotes it, right?
Right. So there were many people that seem to think that taking a break, which is good for you no matter what. I'm going to tell you that probably 20% of people that take this 30-day break make it permanent. So just
really?
Yeah, there's a 2 in 10 chance that you're one of those people.
Okay.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
That's a great thing if it's right for you.
Yeah,
I mean,
and I just read that because I was looking up on some of the statistics of it. The other parts are what I would tell anyone that wants to just become abstinent for a month. Make sure that you're not, if you are physically addicted to alcohol, which means you drink every day, every single day, and you haven't gone 5 days without a drink in years, you might want to contact a doctor before entertaining this because it can get dangerous. And you want to err on the side of caution, which is something that, but most people that drink every day, like sober January or dry January and sober September are like, that noise. So we don't have to worry. Most of the people entertaining this notion aren't at that level. And again, the other parts of it are really simple, guys. What's triggering you? Like, we just gone through the holidays, we've got COVID, like an alcoholic will tell you air is a trigger. If I'm breathing, I'm going to be triggered. But if you do entertain this, you have to sort of look at things a little differently, like make a conscious effort at not watching the news for a month. Probably a good idea because that'll make anyone drink.
Yeah.
And all those little things like that, it starts with these small little changes that can make it a lot easier to make it through the month. But what it's also seen, go ahead.
But let me ask you this though, because I think for most people watching this, and I'm not going to speak for Adrian, but what she said to me is that the majority of people are doing something like dry January simply because they feel it's good for them to simply take a month off and intend to, clean out your system, give your liver a break, whatever your reason is, shed a few pounds, all those things. And I know obviously as a sober coach, most people by the time they come to see you are looking for some type of long-term permanent, or they should be or need to be in your situation. But let's talk to the people and what are your thoughts on just stopping for a month, period? Do you see those health benefits if someone's intention is to be a casual drinker but wants to take a month off?
You're going to see within 2 weeks, your skin's going to get clearer, your eyes get clearer, your sleep will improve. That's for sure. They say that, I love saying that, but medically speaking, at 28 days, your brain's firing at 99% anyway. You're going to be out of the fog. And people think they can't be in the fog if they only drink 3 times a week. Yes, you can be. Alcohol takes a little while to bypass your whole system and to get through it all. And it affects pretty well every one of your organs. When the first dry September, sober September came out, it was the Heart Stroke Foundation that was sort of pushing it first. This is years ago. Again, I did a bit of history homework today. So I wanted to have something to talk about. But it's that effective to your stuff. So just the moderation part, everyone thinks they drink moderately. No one admits that they're drinking fully. They sort of can have their own narrative. But in this case, just becoming aware of it. And you're going to, my tips for you to help you through this are going to be pretty simple ones, but they will help you. And you will see advantages you'll see very quickly the advantages to your health and to your, to your clarity and to your responses to, events that would be setting you off. You'll be much better to react.
Well, it's interesting, and I thought about this. We all probably know people like this, and maybe we've been those people at times. I don't know. I certainly back in college did a lot of stupid things. I think that's college is probably Latin for stupid moron anyway. But I remember last year, January 1, and I was going to an outdoor event with some families and friends, and it was a kid-oriented thing. And the grown-ups, I was not drinking at that time at all. The grown-ups were having a Bloody Mary bar and some food and some mimosas, and it was very normal and typical New Year's Day type thing. And there was one woman there who I knew fairly well, and she did not look great. And everyone thought that she was not looking great because she had talked about doing dry January. So everybody thought that it was like, she's 10 hours into dry January because it's 10 in the morning, just woke up. And her whole thing was that because she knew she was not going to be drinking in January, that was her plan at least, she went so hard the night before on December 31st that she kept going till about 4 or 5 in the morning on January 1, which basically you already lost.
Yeah.
And about two that afternoon, literally watched her like throwing up and heaving and having to run into her home. Ooh. And I got to be honest, I don't think it's that rare. Now, if people are like throwing up and heaving, but meaning that mindset of, like I've seen for years when we've done weight loss programs where we've tracked people for different brands and campaigns, and, we will be weighing people in, measuring them to put them on a 30-day program to better their life and health. And you'll see someone like walking in with a pizza. And you'll say, what are you doing? And they'll say, oh, well, I'm going to be eating healthy for the next. We had one woman one time, I remember years ago, with a big muffin and cake. And I remember taking it out of her hand. And I said, but no, this is the mindset. And she looked at me and said, even Jesus got a Last Supper and was serious and so angry. And that's when we'd say, well, what's the intention to do this? What do you look for someone to be successful if they're going to do something like dry January starting January 1?
I think it's important for you to know that you have to say, okay, well, I'm going to do this. Anyone that's that hard up, like that lady that said, I'm going to go hard all night and I'll start tomorrow. In my own recovery, every night was January. Like tomorrow, new regime, I'm going to start tomorrow. I promise you, I'm going to start tomorrow.
Yeah.
But in the case of that, and like when I'm saying that, like it's really fun that we're going to have some people actually make a conscious effort to stop drinking for January. And some people will actually start to see those benefits and keep on to it. But the people that want the last hurrah, do you know how often in my job, I've seen people say, I'll go to rehab, but I need to shoot up one more time. And that's usually the most dangerous time in anyone's recovery is like the last, they think they can get one more in. I didn't get the opportunity. I wiped out and I just started then. And I know when I quit smoking, it was my 1 year sober anniversary, and I had a brother-in-law that was always in my ear chirping me, oh, great, you gave up the alcohol and the drugs, but you smoke like a chimney. And I just made my decision on that date that I'm going to quit smoking, and it was that easy. I didn't buy an extra pack. I actually gave the last, half a pack of cigarettes to a friend of mine and never smoked again. I'm happy to tell you that will be on January 3rd, I'll be 17 years sober. Which is next Sunday,
congrats.
And I'll be 16
happy
years
birthday,
smoke-free.
right?
16 years smoke-free. And I smoke, and again, she started with, I started the cigarette thing with just, I got to stop smoking. I'd gotten a year sober and I got to stop smoking. And this is the same type of, I now put it in my mind that I'm going to stop doing this. First things first is that we're going to go through the holidays and we're financially, everyone's spent against the cap, and the fucking Amazon hasn't stopped delivering still. Like it's still happening here for me in Miami, but the benefits of also financially, alcohol costs a lot of money if you're going to drink daily. And people don't see this. The bills are like, oh, it's just alcohol. It doesn't matter. I'm doing it at home now. Even at home, it consists of a lot of money if you drink regularly. So,
well, speaking of which, what if you like really fine Cabernets? Let's talk about our friend Adrian here and go back to her. And why did I sent you an email and I thought that I won't get into what I think, but what did you think when you got that email? Because I wasn't sure how you were going to react. And tell everyone what it was.
Oh, what email? About dry January?
No, the one about doing your laundry. Yes, the email about dry.
Well, I was just making sure. Well, first of all, like I said, I didn't know what dry January was. But once you said that you were going to be speaking with Bob, for sure, I'm all on board because, I've been drinking a little bit more than usual lately.
You wavered. You had some concerns. You're like,
Well, here's the thing. And sorry to lay it all out on the table, and I'm sure a lot of people at home, a lot of our viewers can relate to this, but my drinking habit is with my husband. Like that's just our weekend habits, or weekday sometimes, weekend evenings. We'll get home, I'll have a glass of wine, he'll have a glass of whiskey, and then the weekend is also all drinking. But that's just and what I've noticed about it is it's part of our relationship, like a pretty strong part of it. Like we're solid, but a lot of it revolves around having a nice drink, ordering some dinner or whatever, and being with our kids. So, I'm definitely all for giving up alcohol, going dry this January. I hope my husband will be supportive because I think it will be way easier if he's on board too.
Yes. I was going to tell you, in this case, it'll be a lot easier when you have a support because you will resent him if he's not. And it's going to start right away.
You think so?
Absolutely.
Well, for a month.
Yeah.
A month. I mean, especially if he's look, as a disclaimer, I happen to know her husband very well, and some people might say I have a man crush on him, and it's possible. We have a little bit of a bromance. He's a really cool dude.
Yeah.
And he's also like really into vintage watches and a lot of other things, and not just whiskey. The man knows his whiskey. I probably could have quit drinking 10 years earlier if it wasn't for like her husband's like birthday and Christmas presents to me. I'd be like, Damon, this is spectacular. I mean, the bottle sometimes. This guy's like, he's a connoisseur and just really has a great eye for things. So I could see where that would be a little bit more of a challenge, but he's also a really sweet guy who I'm sure is going to be very supportive. We came up with something that we called Ambush Damon. So Adrian's actually going to call him live. He doesn't know this.
Let's see.
And see if we actually get him on the phone. He has no idea this is happening, and see what his reaction is going to be to her going dry. And you could even speak to him.
Let's see if he'll be on board. He'll either be all for it or he'll be like,
We might hear some
no.
ice being.
hello.
Hey.
Hi, it's
Hi,
me.
Mama.
It's me, and you're on with Bob, the sober expert, and with Drew. We're filming our podcast.
What's up, Damon?
Hi, Bob. Hi, Drew.
Hi, Damon.
So, hey, we were chatting, and I think I'm going to do Dry January, which is basically giving up booze for 30 days.
No!
Do we hear ice going into a glass in the background as you pour one of your spectacular whiskeys?
Is that a thing?
See?
Yes.
I didn't know it was a thing either.
Do either of you have a little something called Google or the
No,
internet?
I never heard of it.
Are you making a drink right now, for real? I hear ice in the background.
No.
So what's the rule? Just no alcohol at all?
Absolutely not.
No alcohol.
100% abstinence.
All right.
100% abstinence.
So you want to do it?
I want to do it. I want to get back on track.
If you do it, I'll do it.
We did not expect that.
Oh, Damon.
No.
Damon is 100% with
Think about it,
Adrian.
though, like, I guess January is a good time to do it.
Yeah.
Okay, let me share a little disclaimer. Someone who happens to know you guys well, in fairness, and why I didn't expect that, because this last week someone sent me a gift that was a spectacular bottle of bourbon with a beautiful story behind it. And I sipped some myself, and knew I was heading towards January, and it was so great and such a special story. I had to send a bottle over to my friend Damon, who happens to be married to Adrian. And I always have to say it's for both of you guys, or her feelings get hurt. But it was a really fun bottle with a story I sent to Damon. So the next day, I'm getting this whiskey is spectacular. This bourbon's wonderful. It's great. We're just enjoying it so much. And then I see a picture on social media that they post of themselves just then with a completely different whiskey bottle, thanking another friend for sending another whiskey on Saturday. so I'm texting them. I'm like, wait a minute. You guys just said thank you for the whiskey I sent. It's spectacular, but you're drinking someone else's whiskey. And Adrian's like, maybe I should do Dry January.
Yeah. But seriously, that's the truth. And because we like our booze, and especially Damon with whiskey, he gets gifted like a lot of whiskeys. So.
Oh my! Well, I think it was 4 bottles of whiskey for Christmas. So.
Look at me. Look at me.
All right.
Look at my face in this.
Yeah.
I'm totally. I support you 1,000%. I'm down to do it too. I think
All right.
I think a little cleanse certainly won't kill us. It's probably going to be hard.
But with you and I doing it together, it will be easier anyways.
or divorced.
Or divorced by the end of this, who knows?
Oh, yeah, I forgot about.
Our next podcast is me and Adrian's 2 kids here because they're just.
Because we're bickering.
I just forgot we're going into 4 days of just with our kids and no babysitters. So can we start?
Well,
No.
January 1st. It
January.
starts January 1st. Oh, is it starting
All right.
today, Bob?
No, it starts at midnight on January 1st.
Oh, starts on midnight on the 31st.
31st,
Okay.
yeah. And I want you to, Damon, at first thing, I don't know you. I do feel like
Takes me 1 or 2 more decent glasses in.
okay. This is something that people don't understand. You can love fantastic whiskeys. You can love all that shit. 100%.
But how can he love the whiskeys if he's not drinking them for 30 days? He's supposed to polish the bottle and just read poetry and sing songs to the bottle?
Actually,
I don't understand.
I would take it out of the house. I would just move all of it out of the house for now.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to send you a picture of our bar area, Bob. It's really nice. Anyways, Bob's saying we should take all the booze out of our house.
Or you're going to have to cover it with a blanket. I mean,
No.
you guys wheeled my bar card away.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
All right,
Bob, they wheeled my bar card away.
And that's why
I'm rolling around on.
Yours at least is on wheels. Ours is like prominent in our living room.
Go to the storage container place and pick up a couple of containers and take
maybe
them.
we lock it in the cabinet below with like a combination lock that we don't.
All right, we'll deal with
Something like
it.
that.
Maybe
Okay.
give the combination to the 5-year-old to keep it away from you guys, because that, I mean, just, you know.
All right, love you.
All right,
Oh,
Damon.
love you too. It'll be fun. We got this.
Damon, you're on board, baby.
All right.
I'm doing it.
All right, man.
All right, bye.
All right. Take care.
Bye.
All right, bye.
You ain't got this. Is well, that's motivational.
It's what I tell people
Well,
that whenever an alcoholic tells me, "Yeah, I got this," pack a lunch. Pack a lunch.
Well, I don't.
Let me just give you some ground rules. It is tantamount to this being successful that they work as a team. And yes, you should have it out of your house. You should not, like, what's your relationship with alcohol? Is, I don't know, I got a bar full of this at home, and I'm drinking it regularly and moving bottles in and out. You're sort of seeing something yourself, and you have young kids. Because what's going to happen for this is your relationship with your children for this month, your relationship with nature. I want you to get out and move around. Like, don't just stay home and like, oh, it's 4 o'clock. We're going to clean glasses and start drinking now. You're going to have to do things like eventful things and get out and move and make your brain work in a different way. Stay away from the news and like maybe even journal, each of you a little bit. Just maybe take out your phone and write some notes and say, I wonder what I'm feeling, because you're going to be feeling. I guarantee it.
Yeah. Yeah. You're
Maybe
right.
spending more time at the office can be a little cathartic for her.
No.
Definitely not. Stress level.
Yes, keep the stress level down and try and be friends with each other. And buddy, and I'm not saying this is permanent, but I'm pretty sure at the end of the month, at the end of 30 days, you're going to say, wow, this affected me in different ways, from the way we sleep, the way you react to your kids. There's no way you can be carved out of wood with kids. None.
But see, that was cool and somewhat unexpected, honestly, very unexpected on my end. I thought Damon was going to say, good luck, pick up some more ice on the way home, and I'm all for it, babe. I wish you well. And then he'd pour a drink. And he was jumping right on board, which speaks to how much he cares about Adrian and is great and why they're a great couple. What would you say to, like, I personally think 90% of all people watching this who saying they're going to do dry January probably don't have a spouse or significant other that would be on board, that would say I support you, but they're going to go about their lives having a glass of wine at night or 2 or 3 in front of them. What do you say to that person who's with someone? What are some tips? You're not going to say I talk them into it. That could break the relationship.
Be upfront about what you're doing, and this being your this is, you want to do this for a month and that's it. But be upfront about it. Don't like pretend like it's not happening. Say I've made a vow to myself I'm not going to drink for the whole month, and that's it. And anyone that has a problem with that, you're in a bad relationship and get the out of there anyway. Because someone should support that 100%. It's only a month. We'll see what happens. And again, there is a journey to be done. You're going to explore yourself while you're not drinking. You're anesthetizing yourself every time you have your few drinks. It's taking the edge off and you're feeding yourself. You're getting away from stuff that you don't want to deal with. I'm telling you, I'm not making that up. It's a great escape.
And there isn't. It is amazing the excuses that we all make. Like, I mean, again, it's part of the human condition. And, we were talking about something recently and I was speaking with someone and we were saying that, really you can change the word excuse and reasons for excuses. Here's my reason. Well, it's an excuse. And I remember myself so often would say, okay, I'm going to stop drinking then just for a month or whatever, and there would always be a different event or a different thing. And sometimes there would be a work event coming up and I would know that I was going to entertain certain clients who were very heavy drinkers. And if I didn't at least have a few in a Las Vegas outing with them, that it might offend them, so that, I won't take this month off or that month. And then I had several close friends for years reach out to me and say, I really want to do dry January with you. But my birthday's in January, so that messes it up. So I can't. I'm very genuine. And I heard other people say, yeah, but I really, New Year's Eve is my favorite holiday and I really like to go out hard. So there's no way I'm going to be able to wake up and genuine. And whereas it sounds silly, and I could laugh at it, but I used to make all of those excuses as well. I would always have something where there was a reason. I'd put my own roadblock for where I don't want to miss that. I don't want to miss out on that. And it really isn't until you start to say to yourself, if you're in that window, well, I'm going to have a better January, in my opinion, and be more part of all of these things if I do this. Again, it goes back to that mindset, but it's been so interesting how many people since we posted Who Wants to Join Us, and a lot of people have and still are, but the genuine excuses or reasons, as people say them, are pretty fascinating about what we do as humans, how we sabotage ourselves.
There's always going to be a reason too, guys. Always. You can find reasoning in just about anything. When it's your narrative driving it, you're going to be able to come up with something that says, oh, because there's a Tuesday in this month, I can't do it. Or, Tuesday in every month. There's always something that can do that. And I'm not joking about that. People, you're seeing the human condition is right. Oh, I could, but I got this thing then and that and this and that. There's always something.
Right. We have a lot of holidays in this country. I think even Canada has a few holidays, but in America, we got a lot. So you got New Year's, you got in February, you got Valentine's Day. Oh, I want to go out with my sweetheart and have champagne at such and such. You're going to have a birthday. You're going to have Easter brunches. You're going to have Christmas, Thanksgiving, socializations, different events and engagement parties and weddings. So-and-so's getting married. So again, if you're tying whether you're going to drink or not entirely to I have some type of social activity coming up, unless you're a hermit and live in a shell, you've pretty much just wiped out 12 months out of the year where you can say, okay, this month's going to work to start.
Yeah, no, that's true.
And just sometimes you'll see how people come to any one of your social events like, oh, it's my kid's baseball game, but they got a 12-pack with them. Here he comes. They see people that, every day is a good day or it's go time all the time. It really depends on, and I'm telling you now, some of the people that are entertaining the notion of doing this are also going to realize, man, we have a weird relationship with alcohol. Like maybe it's too friendly for us. Maybe it's too omnipresent in our lives. Part of this, it's amazing. Let's say I'm going to stop, but you're going to need to stay busy. Like go for a nature walk. You live in California, go on a trail walk, do something, stay busy with the kids. If you just stay there and stay in your same behavioral patterns and you're not drinking, it's going to be long and it's going to be difficult. You're going to have to mix that up and reach out to friends and talk to people and have conversations that are not on the periphery or a bit more meat on the bone in the conversations you'll have with people, because you have the time to do that now. Clear thinking. Right. Instead of calling them, you live on the West Coast, you're calling back to Toronto to your family. And I never really liked you anyway. And, it's 10 o'clock there. You've had a few because the whiskey's been flowing.
No, we're happy drunks. Yeah. We're happy drunks.
Yeah, exactly. Until you're not, by the way. That's the other thing I'll tell you. Everything changes, and alcoholism is a progressive illness. But I think just being, first of all, how cool was it that Damon was that fast to say, I'm in, babe. I love you. Amazing.
He is. Now I will say, I think the first week or so is probably going to be easy, and then I think the latter half is what will be more difficult, because yes, Damon's always supportive of anything I do, which I love about him. But I will say that when I got pregnant, he was this, oh, you're not drinking? I'm not drinking either. No. But then we'd be at a restaurant and I'm like, no, you can have a beer or whatever. And I think it was, maybe a few weeks in where he's like, okay, I'll have a beer.
Well, you insisted.
But I did. You're right. I insisted. But basically what I'm saying is, I think
that was a trap. I'm with Damon on that one. Forget it. It's not just because I have a man crush on him.
I think it's going to be successful couple weeks. I think the latter half will be a little more difficult for us.
Will we be checking in with me to tell me how it's going?
If that's what you would like.
I want you to be, and I want you to really, you can take a second here. We're a few days out to say, how will I fill the time? And maybe I should work on my relationships with my brothers, sisters, even Drew for that matter, while I have the moment to do that. Because you're going to have a time to look at some, do a little inward journey, both of you guys, and set some goals together. Set the goal February 1st. It's like we're not even going into work. We're just going to stay here and drink all day. Don't set that goal. Set the goal. Set some goals that you want to get through in the month. You have to be conscious of changing things up. While you're not drinking.
So, I'll be honest about one thing, and I'm saying this for the first time. When I sent Adrian that note about doing Dry January, I probably, almost certainly, I'll be honest, I was looking for someone to do it with me. I really did, because again, she jokes around, I give her a hard time, but she's like, yeah, but I'm not the one who, would pour a drink at the office or whatever. I'm like, yeah, but I can. That's the thing, is that I have access to things that most people wouldn't. I've never had a job in my life. I mean, I've always worked for myself. So I've never had boundaries other than perform, succeed, make sure that we do well. So for me, the accountability is really helpful, especially since, again, I didn't go on a bender off the deep end or anything whatsoever. I made a conscious decision at about the 70-day mark to say, all right, I am having a lot of stress. I am in COVID. I can't go to the gym like I want to. I can't, and again, reasons, excuses, I see that parallel pretty similar. But the bottom line is then it's like, once you break the seal the next night, so instead of having 2 or 3, I might be having 1. Instead of, having 1 right before bed, I wouldn't. So I will say that I felt much more aware of if I was drinking, what I was drinking. So a lot of very good positives, but then separately I said, I just think I wish I could snap my fingers and be, at day 100 instead of starting over at 1, because the first is always the hardest, just socially, mentally. I don't think anyone says, today I'm not having a drink whatsoever and I'm taking off, and you jump up and down. So whether it's misery loves company or you want someone to be optimistic with.
Question for you though, how are you feeling going into this? Because like you said, you were sober for, 90?
Almost 70 days.
70
roughly.
Days.
Right.
Started drinking here and there a little bit.
Right.
Definitely not back where you were before.
Not even close.
But are you feeling like pretty confident going into this, or?
I'm eager. Bob was saying before we started the show today, Bob had some medical issues over the last 6 months, and we've been talking about that, and you're doing better now.
Thank goodness.
And as you know, but a lot of other people at home might not know, is I just been recovering from a triple hernia surgery. I sent Bob a picture of it the other day. You've seen the picture for the medical photos I've shared around the office. And I said, should I post this on social media? And you guys, no, it's the one I showed you with just one of the 3 hernias. And you see like a hole in my abdomen wall and then all this stuff icking out of it, which is like fat and goo that eeps in when you have a hole. That's basically what a hernia is. So I'm almost 6 weeks out from that. But what's been really hard is that not even to have the release of really working out, because once we had that condition and I had like size of a lemon coming out of my stomach, out of my belly button. So from that point, I really, my last release was working out in the morning or in the evening, just especially with COVID. Playing with your kids is great, but sometimes you come home from work at 7 o'clock at night or later, and your kids are not in the fun play mode. They were when you were at work. By 7 o'clock at night, they're like crying, screaming, and yelling and throwing stuff, and everyone else at the house is like, "Oh, good, you're here. Take them."
Right. 7 o'clock. That's when you start drinking, because you come home to the kids screaming, yelling, "I need a drink!" And
so. I'm excited because I'm timing this too. It was helpful for me. Tomorrow's my first official day actually training, working out again beyond just like a soft walk. I mean, right after the surgery, I couldn't move. My whole midsection was like black, blue, and purple. It was supposed to be a 2-hour procedure. It was like 5.5 hours. And I woke up and the doctor, from what I remember, was like, you had a triple hernia, incarcerated, and I had to cut into your abdominal muscles to get at it. And, and then she gave me some narco, and she asked me after the follow-up, how did the narco go? And I said, it was great, which is a very strong painkiller. And she goes, so you used it all up? And I said, the first day. I didn't do it all the first day. I'm like, I couldn't move. So, there was a sense of go home, not that I recommend this at home, barely move. For the first time in my life, I didn't come into work. I know you guys are probably celebrating, but
no, we wanted you to take care of yourself.
I was wearing a surgery girdle around my midsection. I had a marble in my belly button under the girdle, which helps form your new belly button to keep it from enclosing. And even that was fighting with my kids over which marble I wanted. And then the twins were fighting with my boy, and the belly button marble I wanted was not the one I got. So I'm like, guys, this is my belly button we're forming here, please. And so it was a lot. So I have a lot of reasons to be eager to get back, but getting started is the hardest part. So I'm glad to put it all together, and I'm glad that I roped this one in, because she's very good at being accountable. And whatever she does, she sets her mind to it. This one is the little engine that could. I used to joke when we'd bring people into our agency and they would interview. It's surprising that people don't hate her, because we would use her as the example of, if you want to succeed and thrive and do great. And I would just point her out and say she's one of our creative directors of beauty and all this. I said, but if I said, go paint that house across the street, she may never have painted before. She's going to paint it with, not necessarily better, it doesn't matter, but with more detail, more passion. She puts everything into it and with a better attitude. So that's kind of who you want. But now,
thanks, Drew. Yeah. That's nice.
Yeah. Now we got 3 of us, so it's me, her, and Damon. So I'm just going to show up there and snuggle.
And our viewers, please help us, you guys.
Yes, we need viewer support.
Help us stay accountable. And
we got a lot of nice emails. I will say that when we did the first sober thing with Bob, I got so many nice emails, and what was even nicer is private messages on Instagram and other social media that I never shared and I never put out there, which I wouldn't without anyone's permission, but they were private. And there were people who I had known for 15 years and known pretty well, some of them, and I had no idea. And some of them said, I was a junkie up until 5 years ago and almost died. You never knew it, but I've been sober for 5 years, and now I feel like I can speak to you and all those things. And it was very sweet, and that level of support was really great. So hopefully the people watching, I think we have like 20,000 subscribers. Not bad. We started this in March.
Yeah.
When production got shut down for COVID, we had about 3 million views so far. From what they tell us since we started this. So hopefully a lot of people will join in and be a support group together.
So. Yeah, I hope so.
What are your tips, Bob, when you said that you had a simple list of tips?
Well, I think I've told you the first thing you want to do is to, set the time that, like, don't watch the news. You don't need to watch the news. The news sets people off. It just puts you in a mood. Yeah. Don't read the news. Try not to, stay off Facebook. Try and keep yourself in a position where, what's important to me. I'm going to concentrate a lot more on my family. You have children, that you're going to concentrate a lot more on that. But you need to break the routines. Like you already brought it up to me saying 4 o'clock comes around. It's like the bell rings, Pavlov's dog. Let's get out the whiskey and let's start there.
Yeah.
That needs to change. And journaling is not a joke. When people think, I'm not going to have nothing to say to myself. If you take a minute with yourself and your thoughts and write a bit of things down, even if they're jarbled or in point form, start looking at the inward journey of what you're doing. It's for 4 weeks, okay? I'm not asking you to change the world on fire, but having the opportunity to, strengthen those other relationships with family members, be it your parents or whoever, your friends, that's important. These are bonds you don't have the time. You're going to have a lot of extra time that, hey, let's be on the phone or let's reach out to someone, let's go on walks, let's stay busy. That's the stuff that needs to be done. And that's the same thing I tell anyone.
If people have questions for Bob that they want him to answer when we do check-ins, if we're going to pass along a few questions, how do they do that? They email them to Kayla, to you? How does that work?
You can email Kayla at asnotseenontv.com, or you can drop us a line on this video when it launches, and then we'll get a hold of you. But also call out to any of our viewers who want to do this with us at the end of the 30 days. If you complete this challenge successfully, then you can be entered to win some cool swag. Some launch sweatshirts from our agency, which are really ridiculously cozy. Hats, cool T-shirts, and all that stuff. Yes, Bob's got some cool. I wear the sweatshirt quite a bit, so I must say. Yeah, right. It's comfortable. Yes, you should be one of our supermodels, Bob. We need a picture of you in it, Bob. I will get a picture of you. It's in Canada because I'm in warm Miami now. Yeah, Miami. Yeah. You don't need a sweatshirt in Miami. Well, you do tonight. It's going to be a little cold tonight, be around 70. It's freezing as opposed to, 0 in Montreal. So, I think it's a little better. Or minus 17. Before we have to check off, and I know we caught you at the last minute, and I think you have to go back to the pool. And I'm just curious, is like January 1 in your line of work as a sober coach, is that a higher rate of where your phone goes off the hook because people are like, it's a new year? Oh, man. Great question. It is the slowest time of year. And in COVID, it's been a little different. The most interventions I've ever done in a year prior to this year was about 50, 54 in a year. That's, one a week. That's a lot for an interventionist. Wow. I'm at 71 now. And I don't think there'll be anything for the rest of the year. And considering I was sick, I never stopped working. That's a day. Yeah. So, right. But the other you're saying part, this has been your busiest year ever. But I think it's COVID. And then the other part is traditionally, remember those stickers, a dog isn't just for Christmas? You remember those bumper stickers on cars? Yeah. I always think of families sort of say,
okay, we're going to get through the holidays and we're not going to bring up how bad Junior's drinking is or my dad's drinking is or whoever the person X's drinking is. And they all make the resolution, or families have just seen enough after the New Year. And usually the first 5 days after New Year's is pretty quiet. Then, ladies and gentlemen, start your engines because it just flies. And every year since I've been doing this for 10 years, January is always my busiest month. I can fit 10 or 12 in, and they're fast, like bang, 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 bang. So that's usually the way it works. I don't know what COVID will bring us, but usually that's it. And people have had enough, probably. It's quiet. There's a storm coming, and everyone knows that any interventions will tell you after New Year's, probably 4 or 5 days, people have made their best intentions. It's going to be different this year. I'll show you. Don't worry. These tall promises. And the family quickly realizes in January, the shit's not changing. It's got to happen now. So that's how it goes. Right. Good answer.
Any last words, Adrian?
Let's do this. We're going to track our progress. Probably me more so than you.
And Adrian, you can reach out to me individually whenever you need me. I will answer your phone 24/7 because we are friends. We do text each other on the side and stuff. So that's for sure.
Her husband will shoot you.
Yes, he won't.
Her husband's a cop. He will shoot you.
No, he won't. He likes me too, I'm sure. It's a Canadian
Now
thing.
he's angry. He's not drinking, and you're texting his wife. Yeah. You're a dead man.
Okay, yes, I am.
No,
I think that I'm there to help both of them, Drew, much as I am to help you. And I can't wait till this fucking COVID's over and I can come to Southern California, and hang out in your studio and judge you for your booze cart.
It's in someone else's office. It's in Talk to Jill. Okay. It's in Jill's office.
Well, wherever it is. Guys,
well, we love you.
Have a happy New Year.
Thank you so much for being with us.
Yeah.
Happy
New Year, and I look forward to seeing you or speaking to you during this process.
Thanks,
right,
Bob.
Bye, guys. See you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, I love Bob so much.
Great guy. Are you going to drink tonight? Are you having a final one? Oh, that's all right. All right. We got to save that.